Atlas, as it is integration, as it is our role to facilitate integration, and because it takes two to integrate, we have chosen a double focus. You see, the first focus is on individuals, on newcomers, and this is about the integration program. And the other focus is on society and organization, because it's mutual. We said it in the beginning. It was said that it's really connecting with each other is very important in all this story of integration. And the focus on society and organization is about raising awareness, giving advice and support in becoming culture sensitive as a receiving society as well. When we talk about individuals, it's our integration program which is obligated, that people have to follow. Newcomers come to Antwerp. They are sent to us by the Service of Foreigners. And then first of all, they have an intake with us, and then we see what do you need in terms of language, what's your level of Dutch, do you have it, don't you have it? You're obliged to follow a course of Dutch. You have to follow this social orientation course as well, which is in classes, which is about 60 hours that people follow, and which is in small groups, and we really are going very deep into living in Belgium. What do you need to live in Antwerp? What do you need to live in Belgium? Giving information, but also we go deep into the values in how do we live together, the focus on how do we live together, how do we manage living together. And at least there's a coaching program as well, so people have a personal coach. When they enter our services, they have a personal coach, and they're followed by their coach, who is looking with them, are you inscribed in a course of Dutch? Do you follow your social orientation? How do you manage during this course? And afterwards, how can you help you finding a job, just going into work? How can you help you with connecting with other people, with society, in, for instance, in free time? And what about your children? And what about education? So it's rather a full package. But I must say, as did my colleague from GRAS, that normally most people do focus on you have to adopt our values. This is still the focus. Whereas we say it has to go both ways. Integration, you integrate with two, not alone. No. The other focus is on the society and organizations. As I said, it is about raising awareness and giving advice and support in the integration process of organizations. We do this towards society. We do this by organizing expositions, for instance, but also all other kinds of activities for all citizens of Antwerp, inviting them to connect with diversity. So we do give workshops. We have a project about storytelling, where we invite newcomers with a successful story to share their stories with other citizens of Antwerp. In June, we will have a big party in the center of Antwerp to celebrate the newcomers. And that's really a party for us and for the citizens of Antwerp, really in the center of Antwerp. Everyone's invited in that kind of party. This is towards society. On the other hand, for organizations, we give advice and support in becoming culture sensitive, which means that we give courses for organizations. They can come to us for a course. We give them workshops. We provide information, and we do have an interpretation and translation service for them. So these are the two angles we use. I go now further to the app of Antwerp, the app Welcome to Antwerp, which we already presented, because this is in fact a product of this vision of mutual integration. It is an app that enables newcomers to find the information they need to integrate and to know what their rights are, to find a way. This is all already been presented in the other conferences we had. But it is also for the other people helping newcomers on their way, not belonging to Atlas, a very important tool, because it is a very up-to-date tool, and it is a very easy to use tool, and it's free to everyone, and it is an app. For instance, our ombudswoman in Antwerp is very pleased with this tool. It's up-to-date. She is now also on the list of this app, and this is the way it works. When people come to her, for instance, now she can help them as well with this simple tool instead of searching all along. So this tool works both ways. Yeah. Through this link, you can get all information about this app, Welcome to Antwerp, and you can download it as well. So when you come to Antwerp, as my colleague will do, you can use this app for everything you want to know. And more info about this app is in the final RACCOMBAT report in the section Best Practices. You can find everything. If you want to have a look at it, you can come to me, and when we meet each other here, you can come to me. I have it on my mobile as well. Well, the other instrument I really want to introduce to you is a very practical tool we use in our orientation courses. It's called Stadsklap. I think you can translate it by a city talk. And this is an instrument to connect between citizens of Antwerp and newcomers. We heard it before here, that this is a thing lacking in integration, that there are not so many contacts between newcomers and just the people of the street, people of the villages, the people of the cities. This Stadsklap is an instrument to organize these city talks. It is embedded in the orientation course, which is our social orientation courses, which are about active participation in society, which is about making choices, solving problems, being open for diversity, and becoming aware of own competencies and ambitions. Well, how we do this generally, as I told you before, in our social orientation courses, we work very interactive. We are based on questions of the newcomers. We usually use group discussions and visits during this course. And we do this in 31 languages. This is also another luxury because Antwerp has a lot of diversity in the city. We do have a lot of interpreters as well in very different languages. So we can offer this. This Stadsklap is part of this social orientation course. It brings the students' orientation, the newcomers, and citizens of Antwerp together. They talk about life, they talk about work in Antwerp. The communication is based on their own frame of reference, and therefore it's also a discussion about norms and values. It's really a way of connecting, and it's a way of going into communication with each other about the more sensible things. We do have groups, they start talking together, and then questions about what about polygamy, for instance. Many citizens in Antwerp have questions about these practices, but also about what about the rights of your woman, and so on and so on. It's really the more sensible ones. It's often the first long conversation between Belgians and newcomers in both ways, and this is very important to emphasize that it's in both ways. We have had this conversation between students, social work, and I believe it was a group coming from Poland. Yeah? So it was the first time for the students that they really had the opportunity to speak with the newcomers from Poland, and at the end of this session they decided to do it once again. Apart from the orientation course, they meet again afterwards. So you see, we fulfill a need for both groups. So it's an opportunity for each participant to get to know more about other cultures and each other's views. Well, we do it, of course, because it's hard for newcomers, as I said, to fully understand society and culture in which we are living now. But it's also hard for the old citizens to fully understand newcomers. And it's a very safe environment where questions may be asked. The cultures are multi-layered. You can't get to know each other if you are not going really into communication. If you're not going into open communication, it's very difficult to get to know each other and to understand each other and to look across what you see at first sight. We had, for instance, a really beautiful conversation between rather aggressive-looking big guy from Poland as well, and a student who was in the beginning afraid. She was wearing a headscarf, the student, and she was really afraid of coming, and she told so. She said, I was afraid of coming to this group. I was afraid of the racism I would get from these Polish people, because this is a bit of prejudice in Antwerp, is that people coming from Poland are rather racist. So she was afraid. And then at the end of it, they were talking together, and they were very happy with the conversation they had. It was a warm atmosphere, and that it was many times that I felt at the end it was a warm atmosphere, and that brings a lot into this integration process. It's really opening doors. So this is not a long contribution that I made, but I really wanted to stress the importance of connecting in different ways. And I wanted to present to you this Stadsklap because it's really a very beautiful tool to do so. Okay, thank you.